Welcome to Waypoint Connect. It's so great that you've joined us for this episode. And it's my privilege to introduce Chante Hugo. Chante, welcome to Waypoint Connect.
Thank you.
Before we start, just share a bit about yourself, where you're from and what it is that you do.
So I was born and bred here in PE, still staying here in PE, and I'm part of a twin, Rochelle. She's also been on Waypoint Connect before, but we're completely different, and that's me.
Now, you've got an interesting experience in terms of career, your future, and how that played out. Do you want to share a bit about that?
So basically, since I was small, I've always wanted to be a teacher. There wasn't really a second option. It was basically I wanted to be a singer and a teacher. So basically throughout my schooling career, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I knew I wanted to study teaching. So it was fairly easy in high school when I had to make my subject choices and things because I knew I wanted to be a teacher. So I immediately knew, okay, in 2016 I was going to finish studying, and then obviously I would do my teaching degree, and 2020 I would finish, 2021 I would start my teaching career.
So everything's mapped up, you know exactly where it is that you're going.
Yes, and so I went through did my teaching degree, and obviously end of 2020, now it's time that you start job hunting.
And in terms of studying that at university, was that like, this is confirmation, this is where I want to be?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, definitely. When I did my teaching practicals as well, it was also just confirmation that this is where I should be. So at the end of 2020, now it's job hunting, getting my CV ready and sending my CV out to all schools here in PE, Jeffries, Utenake, Dispatch, everything. And then nothing happened. So it was crazy. I applied for jobs. I had one unsuccessful interview, but besides that, nothing happened.
Yeah.
So now obviously all of my other friends, they start getting positions, and now it's panic stations. And beginning of 2021, now still nothing. Now it's heading towards the end of January and still nothing's happening. And I was quite discouraged and what's going to happen now, because I had my life planned out. And then within a few weeks I started with tutoring, because that was obviously when it was still locked down. So the learners had one day at school and one day at home. So when they were at home, I would go to their homes and tutor them at home. And so that was amazing. I worked with kids from grade 1 all the way to grade 9. And that was a learning journey in itself, where I worked one-on-one with the learners, and I got to know the families, and it was really an amazing time. We had lots of fun. We made milkshakes, baked cookies, everything. So it was an amazing journey.
The stuff that they normally would do at school,
yes,
it's like the practical stuff, and mum's too busy, and then you step in, so you were part of all of that.
Yes, that was amazing.
Okay. Now, with that being amazing, how did that impact this dream that you had, this life journey that you mapped out? How did that play into that?
So basically, I think I was tutoring for about 5 months, and then it started getting back to normal. So the school said that learners would go back to school every single day. And then it was panic stations again, because what was going to happen now, because the learners would be at school every single day. And so once again I was discouraged, and what was going to happen now. And so the one day I was like really, really down, and my mother took me, she said, come, let's get into the car, we're now going to go have a girls' chat. And we drove to a school close to where we stay, Kabiga, and we sat in the parking lot, and my mother just had a conversation with me, and she said, are you still praying for your position in a school? Because that was really, I really felt like that was where the Lord wanted to use me. And I said no. I packed all of my teaching resources that I gathered throughout my studies. I packed it at the end, right at the back of the our little storage room, and I was just like done. And my mother said, "But are you still praying for this? Are you still trusting the Lord that He will make this happen in His perfect timing, not my perfect timing, His perfect timing?" And I said no. And we were sitting there looking at the learners. It was break time at that time while they were praying there, and my mother just said, "Well, you need to start praying again and trusting and believing the Lord." And so we had our little motivation session, and then we went back.
And if you think of what your mum said, it's kind of what you would expect a parent to say,
Yeah.
like encourage, be there. So did you take it from that perspective, or like did you take it seriously?
I did, sort of.
Yeah. So it did challenge you.
Yeah, it did challenge me. So then I just went on with my life, did the tutoring, didn't know what was going to happen. And within a month, I got a phone call from a school, and they said that they have a substitute position. Would I be interested? And so I was just like, yeah, let's just do this. Like, I've been through this at the end of 2020, where you send in your CV and like, what's the chances? So I sent my CV in, and it was still in the June holidays. And they said that I would like to come for an interview.
Yep.
So I was like, yeah, okay, let's do this. No, I know how this is going to play out. And went for the interview, and that afternoon they called me and said that they have a position for me. And I was like torn, because now I still had my tutoring kids, and now I have this position, and I was like, well, is this now really what the Lord wants for me? And so then everything just worked out. The day that I started at the school was when the learners went back to school full time. So like everything, my tutoring kids, when they went back to school full time, so everything just worked out. And I can really say that I'm blessed there. And at the end of last year, they offered me a position at the school for this year again. So yeah.
And how's this informed this experience that you've had? And it's not like a once-off incident. It's literally like a 1.5 year, 2-year journey. How did this shape your relationship with God? What impact did it have?
Well, I definitely realized that God's plan for you is so much better than what you can imagine for yourself. And really just trusting the Lord and not doing things in your own strength, and trying to plan your life the way that you would like it to be. Because God always has your best interest at heart. And if I look back now, like, it's so much better than what I imagined it to be.
And it's that whole process of trust, and trusting God enough to say that this doesn't make sense, and if I had a choice, this wouldn't be my choice, but I trust that you know better. Because that's what you experienced as well, is that it's not as if that year was wasted. You learned a lot of practical skills that you're using now within your dream and your ideal, and that's just helped you be more effective.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Thank you very much for sharing that with us and being able to say, this is what I've experienced, and I hope it makes a difference in somebody else's life, encouraging them.
Yes.
So thank you very much.
Only a pleasure.
So if you're going through something in your life and life doesn't really make sense at the moment, ask a different question. We've been looking at better decisions, fewer regrets, and at the bottom of that is the questions that we ask. So just ask different questions about the situation you're in your life, and ask, if you don't believe in God, then say, what's life trying to teach me? But we know it's really a matter of, what is God trying to tell me through this experience? And just trusting in Him within this context, and say, well, this isn't what I would have chosen, but I'm trusting Him that this will have a purpose and move me forward in life and in my relationship with Him. So thank you for taking the time to be with us. And remember, have a great week.